Admiral's Log. February 3rd, 1924. In the Asian theater, our invasion fleet is making headway, steadily carving territory away from the French. It's a tough fight, but we're pushing through, gaining ground bit by bit. Meanwhile, in the Mediterranean, the French Navy is pushing back with all they've got. They're throwing in their battleships to fend us off, but there's something to note. Most of their ships are from an older era. This gives us an edge. Our fleet, equipped with relatively newer vessels, is in a good position to take them on. Our strategy is to use our technological advantage. The newer design and capabilities of our ships should allow us to outmaneuver and outfight the older French battleships. We're focusing on exploiting their weaknesses, using our speed and firepower to hit them where it hurts. It's a balancing act between the two theaters of war. While we advance in Asia, we have to hold our ground in the Mediterranean. The challenge is to maintain this dual effort without stretching ourselves too thin. Every ship, every sailor counts. I'm keeping a close eye on the developments in both regions. Coordination between our fleets is crucial. We need to stay a step ahead of the French, anticipate their moves, and counter them effectively. The situation is demanding, but we're up to the task. Our crews are battle-hardened and ready for action. We've got the right ships and the right plan. Just have to see this through.
Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to episode 26 of our Grand Russian Saga. The situation is that we find ourselves against a fairly sizable fleet of French warships. Some of this is destroyers, like a large portion of it. They might actually be the bigger threat. They are the French speedboats capable of doing 38 knots, well, some of them. The others 34. And these guys are all armed with various amounts of torpedo launchers. The battleships, interestingly, don't scare me that much. Because these are the old battleships. 14 9.8-inch guns. If you get closer, yeah, they will hurt you. If you stay at range, which Sinop, Kursk, and Chesma can all do, we should be fine. There is, however, one holdout, and that's the Victoire-class battlecruiser Marguerite du Ponant. 8 12.2s. Ideally, we'd prioritize this one. Might be a bit of a challenge because she's fast. She's running at 29 knots. Let's see if that speed is going to be enough to save her. Here goes. The first volleys have been fired, but contact with the French ships is a bit intermittent. Sinop has not yet recovered from her previous engagement with the enemy, and sits on a measly 62% structural integrity. Nevertheless, she is now crewed by regulars. Her sisters, or rather escorts if you will, Kursk and Chesma, also crewed by regulars. These guys, with 13.9-inch guns, have somewhat less firepower, numbers-wise, but when it comes to caliber, 13.9 is definitely going to leave a bit more of an impression than a 13-inch gun. Now, let's send the DD forward, because all the French DDs, they've joined the Vape Club. The Vape Club appears to be moving this way. There's also at least one there, so this tells me that we're looking at probably several different divisions, and potentially a screening force. So we might have a couple of DDs. Oh, did we already get this guy? Yeah, I guess we did. There goes one. No more smoke screen for you. This does tell me that some of these DDs are in separate divs. Oh, really? The DD got a bit trigger happy and decided to torpedo the incoming destroyer, I guess. But it's not really a target for torpedoes. My torpedoes do cruise along. I wonder if they'll accidentally hit something, but it's very likely that they'll run out of steam. It does seem like they might be detected, though. At which point, the enemy is going to be forced to do something. Because the AI really doesn't like seeing torpedoes anywhere near their precious warships. And tends to respond rather violently. With all sorts of turns and twists and bends. So we've got 2 torpedoes running. There's definitely more smoke screens being put down. So it's definitely 2 divisions of destroyers. Or it's the light cruisers that suddenly started huffing and puffing. Now all of these French ships, like mine, have taken some damage. Why are you in this division, Sinop? Go with the BCs. Neptune. Neptune can just follow the div, that's fine. I was hoping to have all these capital ships in one division because it's just easier to manage. Now, when it comes to accuracy, we're looking pretty good. 13%, 15%, it goes up and down a bit depending on how many shells are landing around the targets, because our own shell splashes are interfering. My DD is playing a very dangerous game of chicken here. Hold on, is that a battleship? Or is that a cruiser? Cruiser. Wow, what is left of a cruiser? This thing is so badly hurt, it's almost translucent. Like it's already... it's a ghost ship already. I'm not sure exactly why it's here. But I guess the French might be running out of ships. Which is good news for me. Now that BC is somewhere in the back of the queue. Here's the Marguerite. She has taken some damage already. I don't believe we've actually set her as a target. I mean, the AI might have done it for me. But it's entirely likely that the AI happens to catch a few stray shells, as all of these ships seem to be doing rather random formations. They're all over the place. Oh, and the battleships on the French side seem to be prioritizing Sinop. Interesting choice. Lord, with all these smoke screens, it's very difficult to keep a good eye on people. We are getting some decent flooding over here on the badly wounded heavy cruiser. And that should do it for her. I think that at the end of this conflict, the French are going to have very few ships left, and no colonies, if it's up to me. It is ambitious to try and strip all of their colonies from them. But hey, we're already getting a second one. And generally, if you have a ton of victory points, the AI can be pretty interested in either forking over a boatload of money, which would allow me to research more, or they might be so inclined as to give me several provinces. I prefer several. Ooh, that was a good hit. That was a couple of good hits on Leno. Please stick to armor-piercing shells. Don't go and figure out that HE is the best way to go, because against a battleship target like this, it generally isn't. We might not land all our shells and pen with all our shells, but it's the ones that do matter that really inflict a lot of damage, like 5.5k over here. The Surveillant over there behind her. Wrong place, wrong time. She can still maneuver. So can the Lena. I'm not sure... Or the Ina. Oof. I'm not sure why these guys are colliding all the time. Wow, that's a couple of half-dead destroyers. Wait, so half the French Navy that they sent in here was half-dead. Okay. Shall we not engage a DD? Well, okay, we can engage a DD, it's fine. Yeah, Surveillant next, because she's the most healthy one. This destroyer seems to be in a world of hurt. Neptune is engaging with everybody else, picking their own targets so far. Battleships, but I think having her engage the destroyer might be more useful. This is just a complete slaughter. I didn't expect them to be going down quite this easily. But I don't mind it. I thought they'd put up more of a fight, but it seems like my Sinop, the French have not yet had time to recover their ships and repair them. With results like these. Lots of new artificial reefs being put down in the Mediterranean. There goes the duplex. Gauloise is very badly hurt. We are still taking damage on Sinop, though. She's definitely going to need a lot of repairs. But it's fine. She can take a couple hits. Wow, something broke through the CA's armor. A 12.2-inch hit. Yep, okay. Through the forebelt. That's a respectable shell, because that had to go through 8 inches of armor, of 120% armor quality. So that was a lot of armor that just got penned over there. Thankfully, the BC, and I have kept an eye on this, is not sporting torpedo launchers, so I'm not afraid of closing in on it. Let's keep the DD following the div as well. The BC is just getting clobbered from every which way. Next is the Patrie. Gauloise won't go anywhere in a hurry either. very badly hurt. That just seems to leave them with another speedboat, which has seen better days. Like, what the hell, dude? An impact like this should, ideally, just shear off the whole bow. I mean, if they had animations like that, where the ships were, I don't know, built up with voxels, perhaps? I think that would be epic. Just seeing parts of the ship actually fly off. Simply due to the sheer level of impact that some of these ships are taking. How then the game would calculate whether a ship is still seaworthy, or, I don't know, whether it should be returning home in reverse. Like, I believe one, potentially several ships in World War II have done. That's entirely up to the coders and people who know what they're doing. It's an interesting story, that, by the way. I'm not exactly sure what ship it was, but there was a ship in World War II that got its bow blown off, and the ship had to sail in reverse, going all the way back home. I just remember that there was such a ship. I don't exactly remember what ship it was. Yeah, we should build a pen the Gaulois with anything. Look at that armor. 100% armor quality, sure. But... oh, never mind. It's just the deck. The 18-inch main belt is pretty serious. 18-inch main belt. AI went all in on heavy armor there. Is it going to save them? Sadly not. But then this relic has had its day. Gaulois is down. And so is their last DD. So, place your bets. How many victory points? 28k? For 73 points for the French. Nice. Nice. And yet, this is still not a war where I can simply take any fight that I like and take the win. As you have seen sometimes, with the battlecruiser Perm, for example, you just take a ton of damage. And you have to try and pull smoke tricks to try and evacuate the battlecruiser, which is then going to spend the next couple of months in dry dock, because it was absolutely not going to be viable for another round. Now, let's see exactly where my ships are. Am I losing transports? Look at how many transports France is losing. 3, 7, 9, 13, 15, 19, 23. Whoops. I've lost 2 in the Western Mediterranean. And I think that might have to do with the the task force that we just took out. Somewhere over here. We got a submarine. Our submarines are engaging a French submarine. This is a coastal sub, if I'm not mistaken. That's a sub. That's an ocean-going sub. Yeah. Okay. How much firepower do they have in the Western Med? I got almost nothing. And they got 2.1 million. Good lord, they still got a lot. 2 battleships there, 1 battleship there, another light cruiser. And that's just the ships I can see. Valencia has a destroyer. Barcelona, I can't... yeah, there it is. A CL and a DD. Marseille has nothing. Toulon has nothing. Nice has nothing. What about their Corsica island? Oh! There are triple stacking battleships there. Okay. Now, how worried should the French be about this invasion? I'd say really, really worried. The way that the Germans are walking in, with support from the Austro-Hungarians, is scary. I don't really mind it, because I think France has grown a bit too large and a bit too strong. 561 billion in economy. Germany is 456, so they're a little weaker. But Germany doesn't have nearly the same level of colonies. Look at this. This is like a... this is like a Congo line, pardon the pun. From southern Rhodesia, you got the Brits walking into northern Rhodesia, and you got the Germans going into the Congo Free State. Which I understand they want, because it is 1.5 billion worth. The level of force that they're deploying here is pretty serious. So they should have it. They're also walking into Gabon. The Brits are then promptly walking into Cameroon. Wow. The whole The whole African continent is just in a complete uproar. Their army logistics is still really good. Their naval tonnage 418,000, but they're down to 12 battleships. And I seem to be missing a battle cruiser class, because apparently all battle cruisers have been destroyed. I'm looking at 398,000 tonnage, so it's pretty good. Let's see, how is my little fleet doing? Potentially not so little fleet. We have the Sinop. You're still at sea. Sinop, let's get you out of the area of operations, at least for the time being. We had parked you here. Sinop, Chesma, and Kursk, but 40% damage. I don't really want to face another wave, because there will be more battleships. This is just a sorry state of affairs. We're going to go to Tripoli and repair. On the shores of Tripoli. Yeah, a bunch of DDs fighting each other. I got Vladivostok, which is an older Vladivostok class destroyer. And I got the Gavril, which is a really old 4x4 incher. Against a couple of Hardy class destroyers. 34 knots, 38 knots. This is going to be a weird skirmish. Here we go. Torpedo jousting for beginners. Switch your rudder to the right and pray to God. That's basically the tutorial. Thank you for watching. Anyway, we are going to have to dodge a lot of torpedoes using two different destroyers. The Gavril and the Vladivostok. We have one that's already taken a fairly crippling amount of damage. Could be an easier target to finish off later. Yeah, now you're going to, once again, turn your rudder to the right and continue your dodge. Okay. How many torpedoes do you sport, my friend? So if you got another 6 somewhere, oh, you got 1 launcher. You're cute, but you're not very dangerous. So for you... And what about you? Oh, you're the real deal. You got 6 launchers. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we are... Now we're getting somewhere. Destroyed the main gun of the Kask. They did launch a torpedo. So Gavril, please follow the tutorial steps and turn your... Well... That's 2 torpedoes. The amount of damage is actually relatively little, considering how deadly those torpedoes should have been, and most likely how deadly they would be against something bigger. Like, I don't know, a light cruiser, heavy cruiser, or a battleship. Battleship would take far more damage. Now, Vladivostok just got one of her main guns destroyed. That's one of her 5.9s. That is unfortunate. Foudroyant is reloading. I have my launchers. Probably start using them. Set to save. Only use when you have a pretty decent chance. Could you not? I mean, the ship wasn't in a very favorable condition to begin with, but this is not helpful. Watch the AI just magically dodge. Or not. Foudroyant might go down. Fortunately, this thing wasn't very expensive, like 6 million. Not even. So, it's not a terrible loss. Dragon has spent all of her firepower and is now trying to gunboat me down. Foudroyant sinks. Perfect. Chance to hit, 0%. I like it. Reloading the torpedo launchers is going to take me a while. It's going to take them far less time on some of these DDs, because they only got a single tube. That reloads in less than 5 minutes. Mine reloads in less than 10 minutes. But that's about all you can say. Ouragan is running away. Ouragan might be the most... Bloody hell, dude. Might be the most expensive ship that they have sailing around here. Yeah, that's another $29 million for a DD. Yeah, Bouclier, I'm not waiting until your single torpedo gets here. These are 6.8 million. So far, I am technically ahead. It's just... Not exactly as I would like it. Try and target this. Go to half speed. Try and get at least some guns on target. We got a regular crew, but the ship is bobbing and weaving so much that it's difficult to land a hit. But once we do get a hit, Bouclier is almost immediately finished. There she goes. Next. We got the guns over to starboard already. Yep, there it is. Holy moly. Like, these things, they're tricky to use. But once they do work, it's a sight to behold. That did a lot of damage. They're using Quinson's 2, right? Yeah, Quinson's 2 range finding. So they're not going to be very accurate. Let's see, is that... Yeah, neither of these carry torpedoes anymore. Okay, let's chase it down. This thing, however, is using 38 knot top speed. And this one is also using 38 knots. Oh, we got a hit. But you blocked it? How'd you do that? Let's go and chase down this guy. I'm not sure why they're not running top speed. It makes no sense. They're doing 25 knots. They're not low fuel. They're 96%. I think that's a stat I, as a player, shouldn't even be allowed to see. Because how the hell would I even know exactly to the percentage level how much fuel an enemy combatant has? Then again, you can say the same thing about the weaponry. Okay, Vladivostok has taken a lot of damage. I think it's time to disengage. If still available. She's taken a bunch of flooding, but structural damage is fine. I don't think I can pump all this water back out. The structural damage is rather limited. And I've taken down a couple of destroyers, so they get the victory points for killing my DD, but they're not going to get the points for killing the Vladi. Let's take the ship back home and get it fixed. I'm not sure if the French angry smoke screens over here are going to allow me to do that. If not, I might have to go back in. Thankfully, the DD actually did make it out, although she did take a bunch more flooding. But, well, her structural integrity was sound, so seeing as you can just pump the water back out post-battle, apparently, the flooding is under control, and the DD should be back in action in about 2 months. I mean, the damage was, I think, 30-40% structural. It's fine. We'll just have to put a new gun on her. Now, I haven't really done much with destroyers beyond using that new, let's say, utility class that I'm using to do minesweeping as well as anti-submarine warfare. Neither of those roles either translate into combat roles. These DDs, especially the 39 knot ones, they're interesting to see. Yeah, here, like this one. 38 knots. 6 torpedo launchers. They cost you 26 million, but they're a bit of a glass cannon. They either work extremely well, or they get shot once and they just crash and crumble and they sink. At which point you lose 26 million. So destroyers, at least in the current form, don't really appeal that much to me. Now over here we have another interesting skirmish. It's the Apostle Piotr, the 1913 version of the Europa. I need to refit that. That's 11 years old. Versus Charles Martel. It is not going to be an interesting, or at least not a fair fight, but it could be an interesting one. Let's see, how much crew training have you had? Veteran. Now we're getting somewhere. Here we go. Ship spotted, about 18 kilometers out. My rate of fire at 45 seconds is very respectable. And I'm really hoping that we can land a lot of hits with those 6 barrels that we have, because we fire every 45 seconds. So our DPS is pretty low. I'm going to have to slow down a bunch more. And get to 14 knots, get the maximum level of accuracy bonuses that I can get. The French ship has no range. Not sure what their maximum range is, but I think they might not be able to shoot me yet. Why are these guys running off? Oh, they're not. Yeah, they can definitely still see me. There they are. Goes to show how much the Europa class needs a new tower. They are thankfully using the Mark IIIs. The 8-inchers can use an upgrade though. Just 8-inch Mark II. Armor quality, engines, turbines, yeah. Barbette 3 is okay, Anti-Flood 2 is okay, Reinforced Bulkheads can be upgraded, Citadel can be upgraded, Coincidence Rangefinder can be upgraded. This ship needs a lot of work. Unfortunately, right now, she's a little busy. Let's slow down again, get the accuracy back up. I think she's very vulnerable here. Yeah, the belt's fine, the deck is not. Belt's 12 inches. It's pretty good. I don't know if it's going to hold up at short range. I'm very concerned that it will not be. I was also expecting a bunch more accuracy than what I'm actually getting right now. It's 4% and change. Oof. Overpen. So they can definitely pen me. Salvo hit. According to the shell planner for them, is about 85 to 90%. So, I think it might be time to try and disengage here. Because sticking around could lead to the complete destruction of the ship. Yeah, they're definitely landing hits. Consistently, that is a turret that I am misplacing. Thankfully, I'm repaying the favor. Top speed limited to 14 knots. Try and disengage. Look at that. Both the bow guns no longer present on the ship. And with that, all the 13-inch ammunition is gone. Wow. They really pulled a number. Thankfully, they ceased fire. Never mind. They can do 24 knots. Range. Sticking around at 16.9 kilometers. 16.8. Go on. Turn away from the threat. 16.7. Don't chase me, dude. They're definitely going to chase me. They're not going to run out of energy, out of ammo. They're not going to run out of speed. Beyond fighting them with a couple of 8-inch guns, there's not a whole lot that I can do. They have spacious quarters, so trying to burn them down is going to be difficult because their crew is, well, expendable. They'll notice the lack of crew only at 30 to 35%. Trying to force a crew surrender is going to be difficult. I don't really see that I have a lot of plays here. Maybe trying to go invisible, but... Oh, I can do about 20 knots. What can you do? 24. Current speed, however, is 22. Maybe we can just... Maybe we can disengage. Once that end battle button comes up, we're going to hit that. 17.2 clicks. Come on, keep running. Look at that. Poor ship. Just no turrets. Does make room for a modernization effort, I suppose. I'm gonna give them 14-inch guns. Just take off all of that 8-inch nonsense that I have on the stern. And switch that up to 14-inch Mark III. Uh-oh, I got a 6, almost 7% chance to hit me now. Take that down. Zigzag, but zigzagging costs me speed. Or it can do. Yeah, they're down to 1% again. 17.4. If only I had one destroyer with me, I could have easily disengaged. Because you can just smoke yourself up and make yourself invisible. But at this rate, I think we might take another couple of hits, start flooding, lose an engine, and lose the whole ship. 17.4. Come on. Another salvo, again, 7% chance to hit. It's 8 barrels. Suspect at this range, my deck armor is insufficient. We're at 17.5 kilometers, they can pen 7 inches of deck armor. And that's 120%. I don't have that. I have 2 inches of deck armor. Europas are definitely an older generation of ship. They were never designed to face this level of violence. This might take me a while. Let's see if I can evacuate the ship. Thankfully, the ship made it out alive, but only just. The victory points for the French are, well, 167. It's barely going to leave a mark on my 60... No, was it 85k at this point? Maybe 90k. But it does highlight how badly the Europa class is outdated. I was so focused on introducing new ships that I forgot that I still had the older battlecruisers. So it's time to give these guys some attention, because I still have some of them. Although most of the Europas are probably mothballed in the Baltics. Let's have a look. How many Europas do I still have lying around? Class, 4 of them. 3 of them. One's a Petrov. 3 of them. The Europa, the Yakov, and the Pyotr. These ships have served me very well. So I think it's only fair that we take care of them. Let's have a look at the refit. Now, according to the game, the hull is obsolete, but the ships themselves still can get a lot of punch. Because I can I can give them 15-inch Mark 1. 14-inch Mark 3 is going to be far more likely. But in order to put all of that stuff on, we're going to have to accommodate a lot of room. Since these things were the mainstay of the fleet, I'm going to give them turboelectric drives. Because that is not necessarily the most efficient engine, but it's the most fun engine to play around with. Semi-oil, better armor, a better citadel, better reinforced bulkheads. Let's give them hydrophone stations and a stereoscopic rangefinder. These things used to be with the mentality of we're going to close in. Let the 13-inchers take care of the bigger ships, and all the 8-inch guns take care of the smaller ships. This is going to be a complete refit of the ship, and I don't care if it takes months and months and months. I just want to keep these things alive. Let's go. 14-inch guns. Triple barrel. How many of these things can I put on? Probably 3. So we're going to go with an enlarged barbette. Put one over there and put one over there. Boom. The problem, however, is that the ship is pitching up and down a lot. We're going to have to try and figure that out. Enhanced loading is fine. Electro-hydraulic turrets. Like, it's pitching up and down a massive amount. Increasing the beam doesn't exactly fix that. It changes it, well, like almost nothing. Reducing the draft? Yeah. You're changing the center of gravity on the ship, but not by that much. Let's see, if I just start shifting components around. You're going to stick to the main tower, please. You're going to sit all the way over there. You go here. You go slightly back. There. Yeah, I want that thing free spinning so it can target any which way. Pitch is still really high. Hold on, can I just not put another barbette and turret here? Because that is arguably a little closer towards the core of the ship. Shift this. Put this... What? Too far from previous place. Oh. Well, that might have to do with the fact that there wasn't a previous place for this particular turret. What are you talking about? Look, we're already refitting this thing for 9 months. Might as well make it worth it. Okay, fine. Shift this back. Condense the superstructure. Yes, I just tried turning the barbette, for those of you who caught that. Yeah, these can do a 360. That's excellent. Can I put guns on top of those? Not those. 2-inchers? Yeah. You can put the 2-inch triple barrels by now on top of these things. They're Mark 4. They could be useful. What are these? Casemate Mark 3 4-incher. I think the casemates will never exceed Mark 3, will they? Let's take out all the casemates. We're really stripping this thing down to its essentials, which is just the hull. But even the armor scheme is going to get changed. The engines are going to get changed. And this thing is going to have more firepower than my main battleships. Secondary guns. What do I have? Mark 3. Oh, I'm going to guess. This is Mark 4. Right. Against smaller ships, this with a long barrel might work. You just put a lot of volume of fire up there and deal with small things like that. But a heavy cruiser is going to have to get dealt with by this. The 14-inch gun. Let's see. How much longer can I make these barrels? 12%. Giving me a reach of about 10 kilometers. It's not bad. Pen, however, is not great. So against a DD, yeah, sure, this will work. Against something that... What the how? Okay. Against anything that has like a modicum of armor on it, it's just going to shrug it off. But with this, I can put 12 3-inch rounds in the air every, I'd say every 9 seconds, depending a little bit on crew. Okay, armor then. The main deck is only 2 inches. We're going to up that to 6 inches. And we might even do more than that. I'm going to up the main belt to 15 inches, giving, again, greater emphasis to the center of mass. 7-inch armor. Maybe increasing speed will also help, because you're going to need a bigger engine. Yeah, but this hull is not exactly slated to go quite that fast. Unfortunate. What else? Electric steering. Yeah, we're going to shift that to here. We're going to maintain the balanced rudder. Look at the price in these things. That is one expensive boat. Soft cap ballistic shells. We're going to capped ballistic. This will certainly make an impression on cruisers now. Let's say 7.5 kilometers. A 5-inch armor scheme on a cruiser. Well, it's not unusual. If I go the other way, go with a high cap, it's going to pen nothing. But it's likely to set several fires. Reload on these is 74 seconds. It's pretty serious. I can put 9 shells in the air every 73 seconds. Or if I go 14-inch dual barrel. But I'd need to fit 4 of these turrets. I'm not even sure the game will allow me to do that, considering the way that the hull is laid out. Yeah, I can put 6 shells in the air every 60 seconds. No, let's go with the greater volume of fire. I could increase their barrel length by up to 12%, giving them a very nice reach, but a reload of 101 seconds. That's a lot. What if I take it down? That brings the reload down to 46 seconds, but makes the guns very inaccurate, giving them only 10 kilometer range. No. Thank you, we're not doing that. Now, I think the pitch is just going to stay pretty uncomfortable, unfortunately. I think beyond that, however, the ship will be very comfortable to use. Do we have any better secondary towers? No, nothing. Nope. This thing is not going to benefit from any of the new towers that we've introduced since. If I shift this to geared turbines... saves you 60 million, but 9 million per month to run this thing, or 10.5. Turboelectric is more upfront, but over a period of 64 months or 5 years, it pays off. Then you break even. Still an expensive ship to run. As for the rest of the ship, 5 inches of superstructure. That should keep her alive. This thing, once she's done refitting in 10 months, it's going to be good as new. Do we still have torpedo launchers on her? Yeah, we do. Increase the size to 20 inch. No, hold on. Do I want to keep these? It's 11 tons. We got what? 1 per side? Yeah, 1 per side. Including bow and stern. Ah, they're not great torps, but whatever. They weigh almost nothing. No, actually... scratch that. I'm going to take them off. I don't expect to get this close to a threat ever. And I've had it happen more than once that a torpedo just detonates aboard, causing substantial damage to the ship. If I go semi-ballistic, this might work. At greater ranges, like 15 kilometers, you can pen about 10 inches of armor, which should be enough for a belt. Might work. Let's go semi-ballistics. And then, yeah, 2 powder is fine. We're using heavy shells. If I go light shells, we're going to have a higher muzzle velocity. Less shell damage. A bit less shell pen. But better reload. 64-second reload. That's the semi-ballistic. If I go for semi-standard, I don't think they're going to be that good. Yeah. No, I don't like those. Let's go semi-ballistic. Because I think we've taken on most of the French warships. It's tough. I think semi-ballistic will work, but if it doesn't, I'm going to have to refit these things again. I like semi-ballistics because they have more shell damage. Like 50% more shell damage. So you're looking at 1299. Or you're going to be dropping down to 852. That's a substantial debuff. Let's go semi-ballistic and see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll refit them. They're not our primary warships anymore. So I don't mind if we have to send them out to dry dock for a while. And if the Germans decide that they want to play, well, we're going to give them a fairly hefty welcome with these things. Let's put this back to like 13 inches. Put that to 4. 7 and 7. There we go. Okay. There she goes. Europa. 3rd refit. Or 4th by this point. It's going to take them 10 months. But I'll happily pay for it. I still enjoy using these ships. And with the new 14-inchers, they're definitely going to be a lot more impressive. Now, unfortunately, I can only refit one of the ships, which is the Europa herself. The other one is in Southeast Asia, invading Fort Bayard over here. And the third is badly damaged, as you have just seen. So it's going to take a while for these ships to get refit, but we have time. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. We are doing very well against the French. And up next, most likely a completed invasion here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon for more.